It looks like Edelberg and Schneekeistief are taking the lead, with Verfamaker and Katonet holding close behind. One Serious Guy and John 073 are not far off the pace either. Anything can happen in this race. Komodo 3K and Amy have advanced to 3P, surpassing Gary 710 and Neib. Gary 710 and Neib have climbed to 4P, overtaking One Serious Guy and John 073. Arya Serial and Zago 22 have moved up to 15P, overtaking Stifs Machen Junge and M for RKSXX. Komodo 3K, Amy, Gary 710, and Neib are fiercely contending for third place. Meanwhile, Gary 710, Neib, One Serious Guy, and John 073 are locked in a tight battle for fourth place. Lacroix 1980, R.A. Raphael, Bo Bardo, and Sabine 27 are engaged in an exciting race for sixth place. One Serious Guy and John 073 is asserting dominance as he quickly moves through the field, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeistief to secure the top spot. Meanwhile, Buxizro is making gains, moving up to 8P after overtaking ST4NBZH and his Gene 7. One Serious Guy and John 073 are facing challenges, dropping back 22 positions to 23P. Edelberg and Schneekeistief have surged to 1P, passing Verfamaker and Katonet. Verfamaker and Katonet now hold 2P after overtaking Komodo 3K and Amy. Welcome back to the stream, Darth Blazer. Great to have you back in the driver's seat with us. Bo Bardo in the Maserati MC12 and Sabine 27 are in a tight duel with Buxizro in the Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS for the 6th position. Arya Serial and Zago 22 have made impressive moves to claim the 13th spot, overtaking Stifs Machen Junge and M for RKSXX. Meanwhile, Stifs Machen Junge and M for RKSXX are engaging in a battle with Jack Acker and Amaljit for the 14th position, showcasing some exciting race dynamics. Bo Bardo and Sabine 27 are fiercely contesting 6P, with Buxizro in the mix, driving a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. Over in 12P, Electric Mary, Tin Racing, Stifs Machen Junge, and M4 RKSXX are locked in a tight battle. Meanwhile, MD 162 and Laserlost have made gains, now holding 15P after overtaking Jack Hacker and Amaljit. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095 have advanced to 16th place, surpassing Jack Hacker and Amaljit. Palocaster09 and Nukem Bochum have also progressed to 18th place, overtaking Eshe Fardage and Lentiboy. Additionally, One Serious Guy and John 073 are gaining on Duff Dad and Super Lacroix, reducing the gap by 3.9 seconds. Buxizro is now in 6th place after overtaking Bo Bardo and Sabine 27. Duff Dad and Super Lacroix have advanced to 22nd place, passing 10K Manine 704 and Myrobolus. There's an ongoing battle for the 8th position between Arbert1 and Sir Ironbot in a McLaren MP4-12C and ST4NBZH and his GN7 in a Chevrolet Corvette C8. Meanwhile, Palocaster09 and Nukem Bochum have advanced to 16P, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095. Bobardo and Sabine 27 are in a heated battle with Bucksizero for the 6th position. Meanwhile, ST4NBZH and ESGN7 have moved up to 8th, overtaking Amin San and Sidriq, who have advanced to 9th, overtaking Arbor 1 and Sarayan Bot. One Serious Guy and John 073 are making a move, narrowing the gap to 10K Manin 704 and Myropolis by 2.8 seconds. The battle for the 7th position is heating up as Bucksizero takes advantage, overtaking ST4NBZH and ESGN7. In the lower pack, Jack Hackirk, Amaljit, Smurf 20, and Rizaldi Adhar are fiercely competing for the 20th spot. Jack Hackirk and Amaljit have advanced to 20th place, surpassing Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. Electric Mary and Tin Racing and Stiffs Machen Junge and M4 RKSXX are in a battle for 12p. Electric Mary, Tin Racing, and Stiffs Machen Junge, along with M4 RKSXX, are fiercely battling it out for the 12th position. Meanwhile, Jack Hackirk, Amaljit, Smurf 20, and Rizaldi Adhar are in a heated tussle for the 20th spot. Some impressive driving skills on display from all competitors. ST4NBZH and ESGN7 are up to 7p, passing Bucksizero. There's a tight battle for 7p between ST4NBZH and ESGN7 in a Chevrolet Corvette C8 and Bucksizero in a Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS. Arya Serial and Zago 22 are closing in on Electric Mary and Tin Racing, reducing the gap by 2.0 seconds. Arbor 1 and Sarayan Bot have advanced to 9th place, surpassing Amin San and Sidriq. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have also made headway to 20th position, overtaking Jack Hackirk and Amaljit. Bobardo in the Maserati MC12 and Sabine 27 are neck and neck with Bucksizero in the Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS for the 6th position. It's a tight race. On the other hand, Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar in the Maserati MC12 are locked in a fierce battle with Jack Hackirk and Amaljit in the Aston Martin Vantage AMR for the 20th spot. Exciting action all around the track. Bucksizero has surged to 6p, overtaking both Bobardo and Sabine 27. The battle for 6p is intense with Bucksizero in a Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS and Bobardo and Sabine 27 in a Maserati MC12. Meanwhile, Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 are neck and neck with Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy, all vying for 18p. Gary_710 and Niaib have advanced to the 2nd position, surpassing Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have now moved up to 3rd place, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeistief. Bucksizero has made a move to 6th place, overtaking Bobardo and Sabine 27. MD162 and Laserlost have made significant gains, overtaking for cars to secure the 11th position. Meanwhile, Paulo Custer 09 and Newcam Bakum are also on the move, advancing for spots to claim 12th place. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095 are making impressive progress as well, overtaking 4 cars to secure the 14th spot. One Serious Guy and Jump073 are making a strong move, closing the gap by 12.8 seconds on Arya Serial and Zago 22. Meanwhile, Stjus Machenjunj, M4RKSXX, Electric Mary, and Tin Racing are locked in a battle for the 9th position. Additionally, Dovdad and Super Lacroix have advanced to 19th place, overtaking 10K Manine 704 and Myrobolus. One Serious Guy and Jump073 have made significant progress, closing the gap by 44.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Bobardo and Sabine27 are also catching up, reducing the distance by 3.4 seconds. At the same time, Amin San and Sidriq are engaged in a competitive battle with Albert 1 and Sarayanbov for the 6th position. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have slipped to 10p, while Amin San and Sidriq are now in 12p due to some trouble. Bobardo and Sabine27 have made a strong move to 3p by overtaking ST4NBZH and ESGN7. Fafamaker and Katonid make a move, overtaking 4 cars to secure 11p. Eshefaudage and Lentiboy also climb, overtaking 4 cars to claim 13p. Jack Hackgerg and Amaljit follow suit, overtaking 4 cars to secure 14p. Stjus Machenjunj, M4RKSXX, Electric Mary, and Tin Racing are in a tight battle for the 7th position. Meanwhile, Susanne Greenberg, Ricky095, Fafamaker, and Katonit are fiercely contesting the 10th spot. The fight for 11th place is heating up between Fafamaker, Katonit, Smurf20, and Rizaldi Adhar. Fafamaker and Katonit are making a strong move, closing in on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095, reducing the gap by 15.4. Additionally, Edilberg and Schneekheistiv have advanced to 13p, overtaking Eshefaudage and Lentiboy. Edilberg and Schneekheistiv have made a move, advancing to 12th position, overtaking Smurf20 and Rizaldi Adhar. It's a close battle between them as they vie for the 12th spot. Meanwhile, Eshefaudage, Lentiboy, Jack Hackgerg, and Amaljit are currently engaged in a tight battle for the 14th position. Fafamaker and Katonit have advanced to 10th place, surpassing Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095. Eshefaudage and Lentiboy have moved up to 14th place, overtaking Jack Hackgerg and Amaljit. Eshefaudage, Lentiboy, Jack Hackgerg, and Amaljit are locked in a battle for 14th place. Bobardo in the Maserati MC12 and Sabine27 are fiercely battling for 3rd place, closely followed by ST4NBZH and ESGN7 in the Chevrolet Corvette C8. Stjus Machenjunj, M4RKSXX, Electric Mary, and Tin Racing are locked in a tight competition for 7th place. Fafamaker and Katonit in the Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS are exchanging positions with Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095 in the Bertone Mantide for 10th place. MD162 and Laserlost have advanced to 8p, surpassing Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Meanwhile, Buxizro is gaining on Dovdad and Super Lacroix, reducing the gap by 2.3 seconds. MD162 and Lazelos are now in 8th place, surpassing Fafamaker and Catonit. Meanwhile, Fafamaker and Catonit have moved up to 9th, overtaking Arbit 1 and Serayanbot. Jack Akirk and Amaljit have advanced to 14th, overtaking Eshefadij and Lentiboy. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are on the move, overtaking 4 cars to grab 12th place. Buxisro also making moves, overtaking 4 cars to take 14th. Meanwhile, Noga 77 and Meyer are facing challenges, dropping 8 positions to 17th. Currently, Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095 are in a tussle for 9th place, both driving a Bertone Mantide and a Maserati MC12 respectively. Meanwhile, Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are vying with Jack Akirk and Amaljit for 11th place in their rough RT12R and Aston Martin Vantage AMR. Further down, Jack Akirk, Amaljit, Eshefadij, and Lentiboy are locked in a fight for 12th place. Edelberg said, "Hey Amy, if a car crashes and gets sent to the pits, does it get fueled up?" Yes, the car will receive a full tank of fuel and fresh tires while in the pits. It's like a spa treatment for cars. Bo Bardo and Sabine 27 take the lead, surpassing Street for NBZH and ESG 7. Saint for NBZH and ESG 7 rise to 2nd place, overtaking Stiefsmädchenjunge and M for RKSXX. Stiefsmädchenjunge and M for RKSXX move up to 3rd, leaving Komodo 3K and Amy behind. Hey Flatwing, welcome back to the racetrack. Grab a snack and enjoy the action. Great to have you back with us. Racing car checkered flag. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095 have dropped to 23p, while Bo Bardo, Sabine 27, ST4 NBZH, and ESG 7 are fiercely competing for 1p. Meanwhile, Eshefadij and Lentiboy have advanced to 12p, surpassing Buxisro. Tenkamanine 704 and Myropolis are making significant gains, closing the gap by 42.0 on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095. Meanwhile, there's a tight battle for 5p between Electric Mary and Tin Racing in a Radical RXE and Fafamaker and Catonit in a Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS. Further back, Smurf 20 and Resuldiad Har in a Maserati MC12 and Jack Akirk and Amaljit in an Aston Martin Vantage AMR are locked in a battle for 10p. Gary_710 and Neib are making moves, now up to 6th place after overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are now in 7th, successfully passing Edelberg and Schneekeisktief. Smurf 20 and Resuldiad Har have also made gains, moving up to 9th by overtaking Fafamaker and Catonit. Arbit 1 and Serayanbot make a big move, overtaking 6 cars to take 9p. Amin San and Sidriq also surge ahead, overtaking 6 cars to claim 10p. Noga 77 and Meyer follow suit, overtaking 6 cars to secure 11p. Wow, looks like we've got some chaotic action happening out there. Let's see how this all unfolds. Duff Dad and Super Lacroix dropped to 24p. ST4NBZH and SGN7 took over 1P from Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX. Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX moved up to 2P, passing Bobardo and Sabine 27. Komodo 3K and Amy has moved up to 2P, overtaking Gary 710 and Niib. Gary 710 and Niib has moved up to 3P, overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael has moved up to 4P, overtaking Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have advanced to 5P, surpassing Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX. Meanwhile, Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX have gained ground, now at 6P after overtaking ST4NBZH and SGN7. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot have moved up to 8P, surpassing Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Amin San and Sidriq are struggling, dropping back 6 positions to 19P. MD 162 and Laserlost have made a move up to 10P, overtaking Milgus 77 and Meyer, who have moved up to 11P, surpassing Paolo Costa 09 and Nikem Bakken. Tenke Manin 704 and My Robolas are aggressively closing in on Amin San and Sidriq, reducing the gap by 6.5 seconds. Komodo 3K and Amy have jumped to 1P, overtaking Bobardo and Sabine 27. Eshefaudage and Lentiboy have also made a move up to 19P, leaving Amin San and Sidriq behind. Arya Serial and Zago 22 have advanced to 21P, successfully overtaking 10K Manin 704 and My Robolas. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have made a move, jumping to 4th place by overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. ST4NBZH and SGN7 up to 7P, passing MD 162 and Laserlost. MD 162 and Laserlost now in 8P, overtaking Milgus 77 and Meyer. Milgus 77 and Meyer moved to 9P, surpassing Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are making a strong move, catching up to Edelberg and Schneekeisktief, reducing the gap by 27.6. In other news, Jack Ackirk and Ameljit have made a gain, moving up to 14P by overtaking Buxisro. Komodo 3K and Amy have surged to 1P, passing Gary 710 and Niib. Gary 710 and Niib now in 2P, overtaking Bobardo and Sabine 27. 10K Manin 704 and My Robolas have advanced to 21P, surpassing Paolo Costa 09 and Nikem Bakken. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot are in a tight battle for 6th place, both driving McLaren MP4-12C. Meanwhile, ST4NBZH and SGN7 in a Chevrolet Corvette C8 are closely followed by MD 162 and Laserlost. In another intense showdown, Electric Mary and Tin Racing in a Radical RXC are competing fiercely with Edelberg and Schneekeisktief in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS for the 11th position. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar are falling back to 14th position. Meanwhile, Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX have made a move up to 4th, overtaking Arbit 1 and Surianbot, who are now in 5th dot. Buxizero has moved up to 14p, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 has moved up to 15p, overtaking Eshefaudage and Lentiboy. Eshefaudage and Lentiboy has moved up to 16p, overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. The competition is heating up as Jeffs Machen Junge and M4 RKSXX in the Radical RXE are neck and neck with Arbit 1 and Surianbot in the McLaren MP4-12C for the 4th position. Meanwhile, 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis in the Nissan GTR Nismo are in a tight battle with Palocaster 09 and Newcombochum in the rough RT12 are for the 21st spot. Arbit 1 and Surianbot have made a strong move to secure the 4th position, overtaking Jeffs Machen Junge and M4 RKSXX. The battle for the 4th spot continues to heat up between these skilled drivers. Verfamaker and Catonit have made a move, climbing to 8p after overtaking Mogas 77 and Meyer. MD 162 and Laserlost are locked in a tight battle with Verfamaker and Catonit for the 7th position. MD 162 and Laserlost in the McLaren MP4-12C are under pressure from Verfamaker and Catonit driving the Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. Dovdad and Super Lacroix are gaining ground on 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis, reducing the gap by 5.8. Keep an eye on this intense battle for position. One Serious Guy and John 073 are making significant gains, reducing the gap by 418.7 and closing in on 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis. Nogas 77 and Meyer have advanced to 8p, overtaking Verfamaker and Catonit. The battle for positions is heating up. Electric Mary and Tin Racing have advanced to 9th place, successfully overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeisktief. Meanwhile, One Serious Guy and John 073 are gaining on 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis, reducing the gap by 2.6 seconds. Jack Ackirk and Amaljet have made a commendable move, now at position 11, surpassing Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 have advanced to 12th place, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeisktief. Eshefaudage and Lentiboy have also climbed to 14th position, overtaking Verfamaker and Catonit. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar make a strong move up to 14p, passing Amin San and Sidriq. Meanwhile, Palocaster 09 and Newcombochum also advance to 18p, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeisktief. The battle for 18p intensifies between Palocaster 09 and Newcombochum in a rough RT12R and Edelberg and Schneekeisktief in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. Dovdad and Super Lacroix are closing in on Buxizero, reducing the gap by 8.5. Meanwhile, Arya Serial and Zago 22 are catching up to Dove Dad and Super Lacroix, closing the gap by 18.7. Also, One Serious Guy and John 073 are quickly chasing down 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis, closing the gap by 7.8. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 are making moves, narrowing the gap by 8.8 to MD162 and Laserlost. One Serious Guy and John 073 are also on the move, closing the gap by 49.3 to 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis. Lacroix 1980 and RRFIL have surged to 7p, overtaking Jack Hackberg and Amaljit. Noga 77 and Meyer are rapidly gaining on Fafamaker and Catonit, reducing the gap by 21.8. Palocaster 09 and Nikembakum have made a move to 16p, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeistief. Fafamaker and Catonit have moved up to 13p, successfully overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. They are currently engaged in a tight battle for 13p. Palocaster 09 and Nikembakum are also in a competitive tussle with Edelberg and Schneekeistief for 16p. Jack Hackberg and Amaljit are making gains, reducing the gap to Lacroix 1980 and RRFIL by 2.2 seconds. One Serious Guy and John 073 are making moves, closing in on 10K Manine 704 and Myropolis by 2.1 seconds. Noga 77 and Meyer are in a tight battle with Edelberg and Schneekeistief for the 15th position. Both pairs are driving Porsche 911s, with Noga 77 and Meyer in the GT3 RS and Edelberg and Schneekeistief in the GT2 RS. Hey there, Vex0v0ID. Welcome back to the racetrack. Glad to have you tuning in again. Let's enjoy some high-speed action together. Bobardo and Sabine 27 have made a great move, now in second place after overtaking Gary 710 and Niaib. Additionally, Edelberg and Schneekeistief have climbed to 15th position, passing Noga 77 and Meyer. It's a tight battle between Edelberg and Schneekeistief in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS and Noga 77 and Meyer in a Porsche 911-991 GT3 RS for that 15th spot. Stiftsmachen Junge and M for RKSXX are making gains on Gary 710 and Niaib, closing the gap by 4.5 seconds. Jack Hackberg and Amaljit have advanced to 7p, overtaking Lacroix 1980 and RRFIL. Fafamaker and Catonit are challenging Arbit 1 and Sarayenbach for 12p, with Fafamaker and Catonit in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS and Arbit 1 and Sarayenbach in a McLaren MP4-12C. Understood. Lacroix 1980 and RRFIL have fallen to 14p. Echefaudage and Lentiboy now at 8p, overtaking Fafamaker and Catonit who are now at 9p, passing Arbit 1 and Vervaarmaker and Katonit make a swift move, overtaking Echeverdige and Lentiboy for the 8th position. The battle for 8P intensifies between these skilled drivers with different car models. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistief continue to climb, surpassing Nulgas 77 and Meyer to secure 11th place. Understood. Buxisro is now in 15th place, overtaking Dufdad and Super Lacroix. Dufdad and Super Lacroix are now in 16th place, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095, who have moved up to 17th place, overtaking Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot. Edelberg and Schneekeistief are gaining ground on Smurf 20 and Resulti Adhar, reducing the gap by 2.1 seconds. Palocaster 09 and Newkenbochum have made a move up to 21p, overtaking Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot. 10K Manine 704 and Myrobolus have advanced to 22nd place, overtaking Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot. Echeverdige and Lentiboy in a close battle for 9p, driving an Aston Martin Vantage AMR and Maserati MC12 respectively. Meanwhile, Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot have advanced to 16p by overtaking Dufdad and Super Lacroix. Smurf 20 and Resulti Adhar smoothly passed 5 cars to secure the 6th position. They've now overtaken Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Meanwhile, Dufdad and Super Lacroix have advanced to 16th place by overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Buxisro is making a significant move, narrowing the gap to MD 162 and Laserlost by 586.9. Electric Mary and Tin Racing have advanced to 6p, surpassing Smurf 20 and Resulti Adhar. There's a lot of action happening on the track. Smurf 20 and Resulti Adhar have dropped back significantly to 22nd place. Meanwhile, Vervaarmaker and Katonit have made some impressive moves, now sitting in 8th place, overtaking Echeverdige and Lentiboy, who in turn have moved up to 9th place, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeistief. MD 162 and Laserlost make a solid move, advancing to 9p by overtaking 4 cars. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael now secure 8p after successfully passing MD 162 and Laserlost. However, MD 162 and Laserlost regain momentum and overtake Jack Hackirk and Amaljet, moving back up to 9p. Vervaarmaker and Katonit have advanced to 11th place, passing Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Amin San and Sidriq have moved up to 14th, overtaking Echeverdige and Lentiboy. Dufdad and Super Lacroix have progressed to 17th place, overtaking Arya Serial and Zago 22. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 are making a strong move, closing in on Smurf 20 and Resulti Adhar by 530.7 units. Palocaster 09 and Newkenbochum have advanced to 17p, surpassing Buxisro. Buxisro has climbed to 18p, overtaking Dufdad and Super Lacroix. Arya Serial and Zago 22 are being pursued by Dufdad and Super Lacroix, who have closed the gap by 29.5. Meanwhile, Smurf 20 and Resulti Adhar are quickly reeling in Dufdad and Super Lacroix, closing the gap by 46.8. A tight battle for 4P is underway between Stjivs Junge and M4RKSXX in a Radical RXC, and Street for NBZH and his GN7 in a Chevrolet Corvette C8. ST4NBZH and his GN7 have advanced to 4P, overtaking Stjivs Junge and M4RKSXX. Edelberg and Schneekhuizenteef have also made progress, moving up to 14P after overtaking Echevaardig and Lenteboy. However, Echevaardig and Lenteboy are closing in on Edelberg and Schneekhuizenteef, reducing the gap by 2.6 seconds. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are making moves, overtaking ST4NBZH and his GN7 for 4th place. Meanwhile, Paulo Custer 09 and Newcam Bochum have advanced to 16th, passing Buxisro, who in turn has overtaken Amin San and Sidriq to reach 17th position. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are making gains, closing in on Electric Mary and Tin Racing by 55.5. Street for NBZH and his GN7 have advanced to 5P, overtaking Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael continue to reel in Electric Mary and Tin Racing, closing the gap by 55.5. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have made a great move, advancing to 6P by overtaking Electric Mary and Tin Racing. The gap between Arbert 1, Sarayan Bot, 1 Serious Guy, and John 073 is narrowed by 3.3 seconds. One Serious Guy and John 073 are making some serious moves, reducing the gap to 10K Manin 704 and My Robles by 69.5 units. Arbert 1 and Sarayanbot have made a move, advancing to 23P while overtaking One Serious Guy and John 073. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are fiercely contesting the 7th position, both in Radical RXC cars. Noga 77 and Meyer, driving Porsche 911-991 GT3 RS, are also part of this intense battle for the 7th spot. Edelberg and Schneekhuizenteef make a move up to 13th place, overtaking Suzanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. ST4NBZH and his GN7 are making gains, narrowing the gap by 2.0 seconds against Stjivs Junge and M4RKSXX. Meanwhile, Arbert 1 and Sarayanbot are also closing in on 10K Manin 704 and My Robles by 2.0 seconds. Electric Mary and Tin Racing have made a strong move, advancing to 6P by overtaking Lacroix 1980 and RR Raphael. Noga 77 and Meyer have made a strong move up to 7P, passing Lacroix 1980 and RR Raphael. Meanwhile, 10K Manin 704 and Myropolis are putting pressure on Dove Dad and Super Lacroix, reducing the gap by 2.0. Edelberg and Schneekeistev are making some swift maneuvers, climbing up to 9th place by overtaking 4 cars. Jack Atgerk and Ameljit have surged to 7th position, passing Fafamaker and Katonet. However, Fafamaker and Katonet have now moved to 8th place, overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeistev. Noga 77 and Meyer are making significant progress, closing the gap by 24.1 to Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Meanwhile, MD162 and Lazalos are swiftly catching up to Eshefaudic and Lentiboy, reducing the gap by 22.2. Aminsan and Sidriq are also putting pressure on Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakim, closing the gap by 5.1. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar are making gains, closing the gap by 7.2 on Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakim. Aminsan and Sidriq have advanced to 17P, overtaking Arya Serial and Zago 22, who in turn moved up to 18P by overtaking Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakim. Hey there, Hugardi03. Welcome back to the racetrack. It's great to have you joining us again for some high-speed action. Dovdad and Super Lacroix are putting the pressure on Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakim, reducing the gap by 5.3. Gary 710 and Niaip have made a strong move to 2P, passing Bobardo and Sabine 27. Stismage Junge and M for RKSXX have also advanced to 4P, overtaking ST4NBZH and Isgene 7. Noga 77 and Meyer have made a swift move, advancing to 9P by passing Lacroix 1980 and RR Raphael. Lacroix 1980 and RR Raphael have climbed to 10P, overtaking Eshefaudic and Lentiboy. Eshefaudic and Lentiboy have jumped to 11P, surpassing MD162 and Lazalost. Stismage and Junge and M for RKSXX are making a move, quickly closing the gap by 48.8, reeling in Bobardo and Sabine 27. Edelberg and Schneekeistev are also on the move, closing the gap by 10.1, catching up to Fafamaker and Katonet. Exciting developments on the track. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have made a strong move, advancing to 17P, overtaking Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakim. Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakim have also gained ground, moving up to 18P, surpassing Buxisro. Dovdad and Super Lacroix have shown progress, now at 20P, overtaking Arya Serial and Zago 22. Bobardo and Sabine 27 are making gains on Gary 710 and Niaib, reducing the gap by 3.5 seconds. Stismage and Junge and M for RKSXX are in a fierce battle for 4th position with Street for NBZH and Isgene 7. Stismage and Junge and M for RKSXX are in a Radical RXE, while Street for NBZH and Isgene 7 are in a Chevrolet Corvette C8. 10 Caymanine 704 and Myropolis have advanced to 21st place, overtaking Arya Serial and Zago 22. Gary 710 and Neib are making a strong push, reducing the gap to Komodo 3K and Amy by 33.9. Meanwhile, Bo Bardo and Sabine 27 are also closing in on Gary 710 and Neib, narrowing the gap by 42.2. The race dynamics are really heating up as the positions continue to shift rapidly. That's like saying I'm the alpha and omega of this race. Quite the range, huh? Currently, 10 Caymanine 704 and Myropolis are making a strong move, closing the gap by 41.1 seconds on Amin San and Sidriq. Noga 77 and Meyer have advanced to 9P, surpassing Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy. Conversely, Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy have ascended to 10P, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Verfamaker and Katonet are making moves, now at 12P after overtaking Edelberg and Schneekeistief. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistief have climbed to 13P, passing Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Paulo Costa 09 and Nukem Bochum are on the move as well, reaching 16P by overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. Paulo Costa 09 and Nukem Bochum are rapidly gaining on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095, reducing the gap by 5.7 seconds. MD 162 and Laserlost have advanced to 10P, surpassing Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy. The pursuit by Paulo Costa 09 and Nukem Bochum continues as they close in on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 by 5.7 seconds. Ten Caymanine 704 is putting pressure on Myropolis, both in a Nissan GT-R Nismo and a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS, respectively. They are closely contesting the 21st position. Arya Serial and Zago 22 have made a move up to 21P, overtaking both 10 Caymanine 704 and Myropolis. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 are making a move, closing in on 10 Caymanine 704 and Myropolis with a 2.5 second reduction in the gap. Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy are locked in a tight battle with Verfamaker and Katonet for the 11th position. Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy is piloting an Aston Martin Vantage AMR while Verfamaker and Katonet is in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. The FAF Maker and Katonet cars have advanced to 11P, overtaking the Eshe Faudage and Lentiboy vehicles. MD 162 and Laserlost are closing in on Noga 77 and Meyer, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Paulo Costa 09 and Nukem Bochum are locked in a battle for 16th place, each driving a different high-performance car. Further back, Duff Dad, Super Lacroix, Amin San and Cedric are engaged in a tight fight for 19th position, showcasing the diverse range of vehicles on the track. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 are quickly catching up to 10 Cayman 704 and Myropolis, reducing the gap by 7.1. Fafamaker and Catonit have advanced to 10p, overtaking MD 162 and Laserlost. Edelberg and Schneekeistev are closing in on Eschefardage and Lenteboy, narrowing the gap by 2.1. Albert 1 and Surayanbot are making a strong push, quickly closing the gap by 44.6 on 10 Cayman 704 and Myropolis. Meanwhile, Amin San and Cedric are reeling in Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar, closing the gap by 2.4. And again, Albert 1 and Surayanbot are reeling in 10 Cayman 704 and Myropolis, closing the gap by 44.6. Stismädchenjunge and M4RKSXX have made impressive moves, surpassing ST4NBZH and SGN7 to secure the 4th position. Fafamaker and Catonit are putting the pressure on Locus 77 and Meyer, reducing the gap by 3.8. Similarly, Albert 1 and Surayanbot are gaining ground on 10 Cayman 704 and Myropolis, narrowing the distance by 2.4. MD 162 and Laserlost overtakes for cars to secure AP. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are making gains, closing in on ST4NBZH and SGN7 by 2.3 seconds. Nulga 77 and Meyer advance to 7p, surpassing MD 162 and Laserlost. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 make a swift move, overtaking for cars to take 11p. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael now up to 10p, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 move up to 11p, overtaking Fafamaker and Catonit. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have advanced to 15p, surpassing Amin San and Cedric. Duvdad and Super Lacroix have moved up to 18p, overtaking Paolo Custer 09 and Nikembakum. Fafamaker and Catonit are making impressive moves, overtaking for cars to secure the 8th position. Meanwhile, Arya Serial and Zago 22 are rapidly closing in on Bucksize Row, reducing the gap by 19.3. Another successful move from Fafamaker and Catonit as they now hold the 8th spot after overtaking MD 162 and Laserlost. Fafamaker and Catonit drop back to 14p. MD 162 and Laserlost move up to 8p, overtaking Jack McGurk and Amalgit. Jack McGurk and Amalgit advance to 9p, overtaking Lacroix 1980 and AAR Raphael. Fafamaker and Catonit are currently struggling, dropping 7 positions to 21p. Albert 1 and Surayanbot are making significant progress, narrowing the gap by 40.7. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistev are steadily closing in on Eschefardage and Lenteboy, reducing the gap by 2.7. Edelberg and Schneekeistev have made a move up to 12th place, overtaking Eschefardage and Lenteboy. The foursome is now in a heated battle for the 12th position. Meanwhile, Paolo Custer 09, Newkembakum, and Bucksize Row are fiercely contesting the 17th spot in a thrilling 3-way battle. Palocaster09 and Newcombochum have made a move up to 16p, overtaking Bucksisrow from Team Quark Express. Bucksisrow has advanced to 17p, passing Aminsan and Sidriq. Jack Ackirk and Amaljet are making a move, closing the gap on MD 162 and Laserlost by 3.8. Meanwhile, One Serious Guy and Jump 073 are also gaining ground, closing in on Duff Dad and Super Lacroix by 2.9. Duff Dad and Super Lacroix are making a swift move, closing in on Aminsan and Sidriq with a 6.5 gap reduction. Jack Ackirk and Amaljet have surged to 7p, overtaking Milgas 77 and Meyer. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have also climbed to 9p, surpassing MD 162 and Laserlost. Electric Mary and Tin Racing have made a swift move, now in 4p after overtaking ST4NBZH and East Gene 7. Edelbuk and Schnuckheistiv have advanced to 11p, passing Eschefaudage and Lentiboy. Eschefaudage and Lentiboy have climbed to 12p, surpassing MD 162 and Laserlost. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are getting chased down by Jack Ackirk and Amaljet, with the gap shrinking by 22.8. ST4NBZH and East Gene 7 have made a move to 5th place, passing Electric Mary and Tin Racing. The pursuit by Jack Ackirk and Amaljet continues with another significant reduction of 22.8. Jack Ackirk and Amaljet have made significant progress, closing the gap on Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Aminsan and Sidriq have moved up to 17p after overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. Duff Dad and Super Lacroix are also making gains, closing in on One Serious Guy and Jump 073 by 2.1 seconds. Jack Ackirk and Amaljet are making a move, closing the gap by 4.6 seconds on Electric Mary and Tin Racing. Edelbuk and Schnuckheistiv are also gaining ground, reducing the gap by 2.6 seconds on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Meanwhile, Verfamaker and Katonet have moved up to 19th position, overtaking Duff Dad and Super Lacroix. 10K Manine 704 and Myrobolus have made a strong move, advancing to 23p by overtaking One Serious Guy and Jump 073. Verfamaker and Katonet are closing in on Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. Arya Serial and Zago 22 are also making gains, closing in on Duff Dad and Super Lacroix by 2.4 seconds. Bo Bardo and Sabine 27 are making gains on Gary 710 and Niaib, reducing the gap by 3.0. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 are battling it out with Edelbuk and Schnuckheistiv for the 10th position. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 are in a Bertone Mantide, while Edelbuk and Schnuckheistiv are driving a Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS. Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095 are fighting for 10th place, with Susanne Greenberg driving a Bertone Mantide and Ricky095 in a Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS. Meanwhile, 10K Manine 704 and My Robles are battling One Serious Guy and Jump 073 for 23rd place, with 10K Manine 704 and My Robles in a Nissan GTR Nismo, and One Serious Guy and Jump 073 driving a Cadillac Siam. Bo Bardo and Sabine 27 have claimed the lead, surpassing Komodo 3K and Amy. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have made significant progress, now in a battle for 7th place against Jack Hackberg and Amaljit, with different car models adding to the excitement. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have surged to 7th place, leaving Jack Hackberg and Amaljit behind in a tight battle. They are driving a rough RT12R, while their rivals are in an Aston Martin Vantage AMR. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistev have made significant progress, now holding the 10th spot after overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095. Stismädchen Junge and M4RKSXX are making impressive strides, reducing the gap to Gary 710 and Niaib by 39.1. Meanwhile, Asche and Lentiboy have surged to 11th place, overtaking MD 162 and Laserlost. Locuster 09 and Nukembakum are making a strong move, closing in on Edelberg and Schneekeistev by 45.7. Meanwhile, Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have surged to 7P, overtaking Nogus 77 and Meyer, who in turn have moved up to 8P, leaving Jack Hackberg and Amaljit behind. Fafamaker and Katonet are narrowing the gap to Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar by 12.4. Meanwhile, Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are making gains on Electric Mary and Tin Racing, closing in by 2.8. Also, Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have overtaken Fafamaker and Katonet, moving up to 17P. Noga 77 and Meyer have made a strong move, advancing to 8P by overtaking Asche and Lentiboy. Asche and Lentiboy have followed suit, moving up to 9P after overtaking MD 162 and Laserlost. MD 162 and Laserlost have also made progress, now in 10P by overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Arya Serial and Zago 22 are making a strong push, closing the gap by 9.3 and aiming for Fafamaker and Katonet. Edelberg and Schneekeistev have advanced to 12P, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky095. Meanwhile, Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar are narrowing the gap by 3.0, targeting Amin San and Sidriq. Noga 77 and Meyer have made a strong move, overtaking Jack Hackberg and Amaljit to secure the 7th position. Currently, Noga 77 and Meyer in a Porsche 911 991 GT3 RS are engaged in a competitive battle with Jack Hackberg and Amaljit driving an Aston Martin Vantage AMR for the 7th spot. Jack Hackberg and Amaljit make a swift move, advancing to 7P by overtaking Noga 77 and Meyer. Locuster 09 and Nukembakum also climb to 16P, passing Duff Dad and Super Lacroix. Meanwhile, Dovdad and Super Lacroix pick up the pace, moving up to 17p by overtaking Amundsen and Sidrique. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 have made a move, advancing to 19p by overtaking Buxizro. Buxizro, Fafamaker, and Katonit are locked in a tight battle for the 20th position. Fafamaker and Katonit have made a great move, advancing to 20th place by overtaking Buxizro. They are now locked in a battle for that position. Amy and Komodo 3K have surged to first place, passing Bobardo and Sabine 27. Gary 710 and Neib are making gains, closing in on Bobardo and Sabine 27 by 3.4 seconds. Edelberg and Schneekheist have advanced to 11p, overtaking Lacroix 1980 and AAA Raphael. Gary_710 and Neib have made a strong move to second place, overtaking Bobardo and Sabine 27. Suzanne E. Greenberg and Ricky 095 are closing in on Lacroix 1980 and RA Raphael, reducing the gap by 3.1 seconds. Stismation Junge and M4RKSXX are making a strong move, closing the gap by 40.1 on Bobardo and Sabine 27. Stismation Junge and M4RKSXX are rapidly closing in on Bobardo and Sabine 27, reducing the gap by 6.1. Meanwhile, Dovdad and Super Lacroix are in a heated battle with Amundsen and Sidrique for the 17th position. Exciting developments on the track. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 are making moves, narrowing the gap to Dovdad and Super Lacroix by 2.6 seconds. Fafamaker and Katonit have made a strong move, climbing to 18p by overtaking Dovdad and Super Lacroix. There's an intense battle for the 18th spot between Fafamaker and Katonit in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS and Dovdad and Super Lacroix in an Audi R817. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 have made a strong move up to 19p, overtaking Dovdad and Super Lacroix. Meanwhile, Buxizro from Team Quark Express is narrowing the gap to Dovdad and Super Lacroix by 2.1 seconds. Dovdad, Super Lacroix, and Buxizro are in an intense battle for the 20th position. Dovdad and Super Lacroix are maneuvering their Audi R817, while Buxizro is putting up a fight with the Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. Buxizro has advanced to 20th place, overtaking Dovdad and Super Lacroix. Jack Ackirk and Ameljit are making gains on Electric Mary and Tin Racing, reducing the gap by 3.8. Fafamaker and Katonit are also closing in on Amin San and Sidriq, narrowing the distance by 2.8. Lastly, Arya Serial and Zago 22 are reeling in Dovdad and Super Lacroix, closing the gap by 3.4. Nolga 77 and Meyer have surged ahead to 7th place, passing Assetto and Lentiboy. Meanwhile, Assetto and Lentiboy have also made a move, climbing to 8th place by overtaking Jack Ackirk and Ameljit. Gary, 710, and Niaib are putting the pressure on Komodo 3K and Amy, cutting the gap by 4.3 seconds. MD 162 and Laserlost are making a strong move, closing the gap by 21.5 on Assetto and Lentiboy. Lacroix 1980 and RRFIL have overtaken Jack Ackirk and Ameljit, moving up to 7p. Edelberg and Schneekeistev have also made gains, moving up to 9p after overtaking Nolga 77 and Meyer. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are making gains on Street for NBZH and Isgene 7, reducing the gap by 2.4 seconds. Fafamaker and Katonit are also closing in on One Serious Guy and Jump 073, narrowing the gap by 2.6 seconds. Palocaster 09 and Newcambakum are rapidly catching up to Edelberg and Schneekeistev, reducing the gap by 40.9. Arya Serial and Zago 22 are making a move, closing in on Bucksize Row with a 19.8 gap reduction. Meanwhile, Dovdad and Super Lacroix have advanced to 19p, overtaking Fafamaker and Katonit. The competition is heating up. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are catching up to ST4 NBZH and Isgene 7, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. Nolga 77 and Meyer are also closing in on Jack Ackirk and Ameljit, narrowing the gap by 2.6 seconds. And a great move from Fafamaker and Katonit, now in 19th place after overtaking Arbit 1 and Sarayan Bot. Dovdad and Super Lacroix are gaining ground on Bucksize Row from Team Quark Express, cutting the gap by 14.1. Edelberg and Schneekeistev are closing in on Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar, reducing the gap by 2.7. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 have surged to 17p, overtaking Amin San and Sidriq. The competition is heating up as 10K 704 and Myropolis are making significant gains on Arya Serial and Zago 22, cutting the gap by 48.9. Meanwhile, Assetto, Lentiboy, MD 162, and Laserlost are going head-to-head for the 10th position, with some intense driving in their Aston Martin Vantage AMR and McLaren MP4-12C. And once again, 10K 704 and Myropolis are closing in on Arya Serial and Zago 22, reducing the gap by 48.9. Fafamaker and Katonit are making a strong move, closing in on Amin San and Sidriq by 45.8 units. Jack Ackirk and Ameljit have overtaken Lacroix 1980 and RRFIL, securing the 7th position. Palocaster09 and Nukembakum are currently in a tight battle with One Serious Guy and Jump 073 for the 16th spot. Suzanne Greenberg and Ricky095 have advanced to 11th place, passing Edelberg and Schneekeistief. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistief have climbed to 12th place, overtaking Smurf 20 and Resultiadhar. Smurf 20 and Resultiadhar have moved up to 13th place, surpassing Lacroix 1980 and AAA Raphael. Gary_710 and Neib are making significant strides, closing the gap by 6.5 seconds to catch up with Komodo 3K and Amy. Meanwhile, Stivsmagen and M for RKSXX are rapidly closing in on Bobardo and Sabine 27, reducing the gap by 2.9 seconds. Albert 1 and Sir Ironbot have advanced to 19p, surpassing Fafamaker and Catonet. They are now engaged in a fierce battle for the 19th position. Albert 1 and Sir Ironbot are behind the wheel of a McLaren MP4-12C, while Fafamaker and Catonet are piloting a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are rapidly catching up to Stivsmagen and M4 RKSXX, decreasing the gap by 37.2. On another front, Lacroix 1980 and RA Raphael are closing in on Smurf 20 and Resultiadhar, narrowing the distance by 2.8. Albert 1 and Sir Ironbot are making significant progress, closing in on Dovdad and Super Lacroix, reducing the gap by 20.7. Meanwhile, Arya Serial and Zago 22 are also rapidly gaining on Albert 1 and Sir Ironbot, shrinking the gap by 43.6. The competition is heating up. Bobardo and Sabine 27 have surged to 1p, passing Gary 710 and Neib. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistief are gaining on Suzanne Greenberg and Ricky095, reducing the gap by 2.0. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are under pressure as Jack Ackirk and Amaljit are rapidly gaining ground, reducing the gap by 39.3. Similarly, Amin San and Sidriq are making significant progress, closing in on One Serious Guy and Jump 073 with a 41.5 decrease in the gap. The race dynamics are certainly heating up. Stivsmagen and M for RKSXX have advanced to 4th place, overtaking ST4NBZH and Isgene 7. Meanwhile, Edelberg and Schneekeistief have moved up to 11th position, overtaking Suzanne Greenberg and Ricky095. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are gaining on ST4NBZH and Isgene 7, reducing the gap by 2.7 seconds. Palocaster09, Nukembakum, Fafamaker, and Catonet are locked in a tight battle for 18th position. It's a showdown between Rough RT12R and Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS drivers. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are making a strong move, closing the gap by 9.0 seconds on ST4NBZH and Isgene 7. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot are gaining on Dovdad and Super Lacroix, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. Edelberg and Schneekeistev are making a move, catching up to MD 162 and Laserlost, reducing the gap by 4.3 seconds. Smurf 20 and Rizaldiadhar make a strong move, advancing to 13th place by overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Meanwhile, Paulo Custer 09, Newkembocken, Verfamaker, and Catonet are engaged in an interesting battle for the 18th position, with Rough RT12R and Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS in the mix. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have advanced to 11p, passing Edelberg and Schneekeistev. Verfamaker and Catonet have progressed to 17p, overtaking Armin San and Sidriq. One Serious Guy and John 073 are making a strong push, closing the gap by 5.2 seconds on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Smurf 20 and Rizaldiadhar have made a move to 14th place, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. One Serious Guy and John 073 are making a strong push, steadily closing the gap by 51.9 seconds on Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Meanwhile, Ashefaudige and Lentiboy are also making gains, narrowing the distance by 2.0 seconds behind Nulgus 77 and Meyer. The race dynamics are heating up as these cars jockey for position. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot are on the move, making a push to 21p by overtaking Dovdad and Super Lacroix. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot are closing in on Verfamaker and Catonet, reducing the gap by 5.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Buxizro is making significant progress, narrowing the gap to Dovdad and Super Lacroix by 24.7 seconds. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot continue to apply pressure, closing in on Verfamaker and Catonet by 5.7 seconds. Paulo Custer 09 and Newkembocken make a stellar move, advancing to 17th place by overtaking Armin San and Sidriq. It's an intense battle for position between these drivers, with Paulo Custer 09 and Newkembocken piloting a rough RT12R and Armin San and Sidriq in a Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS. Caymanine 704 and My Robolus are making a strong push, gaining on Aria Serial and Zago 22, reducing the gap by 40.6. Meanwhile, One Serious Guy and John 073 have advanced to 15p, surpassing Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Paulo Custer 09 and Newkembocken have also moved up to 17p, overtaking Armin San and Sidriq. Verfamaker and Catonet have made a strong move up to 18p, overtaking Armin San and Sidriq. Arbert 1 and Sir Ironbot are closing in on Armin San and Sidriq, reducing the gap by 2.4. Buxizro is narrowing the distance to Dovdad and Super Lacroix, closing the gap by 2.1. One Serious Guy and John 073 are now in 14th position after overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldiadhar. They are currently locked in a battle for the 14th spot. One Serious Guy and Jump073 are driving a Cadillac Sian, while Smurf20 and Rizaldi Adhar are in a Maserati MC12. Amin San and Sidriq are neck and neck with Arbert 1 and Sarayan Bot, all vying for the 19th position. Amin San and Sidriq are in a Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS, while Arbert 1 and Sarayan Bot are driving a McLaren MP4-12C. Nolga77 and Meyer have made significant progress, reducing the gap to Eschafoudage and Lentiboy by 6.0. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have surged to 10th place, overtaking MD162 and Laserlost. Dovdad and Super Lacroix in the Audi R817 are neck and neck with Bucks Row from Team Quark Express in the Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS. They are all vying for the 21st position. MD162 and Laserlost are in hot pursuit, closing in on Edelberg and Schneekeistev by a significant 16.6. However, their rivals have swiftly moved up to 10th position, overtaking MD162 and Laserlost. Nevertheless, the chase continues as MD162 and Laserlost are once again reeling in Edelberg and Schneekeistev, closing the gap by 16.6. Fafamaker and Katonet are making a strong move, reducing the gap to Paulocaster09 and Newcambocken by 3.1. Meanwhile, Bucks Row has advanced to 21p, overtaking Dovdad and Super Lacroix. Fafamaker and Katonet have made an impressive move, climbing to 17p by overtaking Paulocaster09 and Newcambocken. Amin Sane and Sidriq making moves to 18p, surpassing Arbert 1 and Sarayan Bot. Arbert 1 and Sarayan Bot advancing to 19p, overtaking Paulocaster09 and Newcambocken. One Serious Guy and Jump073 have made a strong move, overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael for the 12th position. It's a tight battle between them, all driving different cars. Meanwhile, Bucks Row is steadily closing in on Paulocaster09 and Newcambocken, reducing the gap by 3.7 seconds. Hey there Shipperman, welcome back to the racetrack. Good to have you back with us. Let's enjoy the AI cars tearing up the circuit together. Jack Ackirk and Amaljet are steadily gaining ground on Electric Mary and Tin Racing, reducing the gap by 5.1. Hey hello, welcome back to the channel. So glad to have you here with us for some high-speed action. Let's buckle up and enjoy the race together. Eschafoudage and Lentiboy have surged ahead to 7th place, leaving Jack Ackirk and Amaljet behind. Edelberg and Schneekeistev are making significant progress, narrowing the gap by 21.9 to Eschafoudage and Lentiboy. Meanwhile, Gary 710 and Niaib are quickly closing in on Bo Bardo and Sabine 27, reducing the gap by 3.8. Excitingly, Jack Ackirk and Amaljet have surged into 7th place, overtaking Assetto and Boy. Gary_710 and Niaip have taken the lead, surpassing Komodo 3K and Amy. Komodo 3K and Amy now hold second place after overtaking Bobardo and Sabine 27. Noga 77 and Meyer have advanced to 8th place, overtaking MD 162 and Laserlost. One Serious Guy and Jump 073 are now in the 11th position, successfully overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have moved up to 12th place, overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar have moved up to 13th place, overtaking Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095. Welcome back Jazak72. So glad to have you back in the racing action. Let's buckle up and enjoy the race together. Racing Car Party Popper. Stis Mädchen Junge and M for RKSXX are making a strong push, closing the gap by 45.9 on Bobardo and Sabine 27. Meanwhile, One Serious Guy and Jump 073 have made a great move to take 10p, overtaking Assetto and Boy. MD 162 and Laserlost are making gains, closing in on Noga 77 and Meyer. Meanwhile, Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakum have advanced to 18th place, overtaking Fafamaker and Catonit. Additionally, Duff Dad and Super Lacroix have moved up to 20th place, overtaking Buck Sizero. Arya Serial and Zago 22 are catching up to Buck Sizero, reducing the gap by 11.0. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael have advanced to 11p, overtaking Assetto and Boy. Additionally, Fafamaker and Catonit have moved up to 19p, passing Arbit 1 and Surian Bot. Duff Dad and Super Lacroix are making a strong move, closing in on Buck Sizero with a 13.5 second reduction in the gap. Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakum are making gains on Amin San and Sidriq, shortening the distance by 4.0. Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar are in a tussle for 13p, driving a Maserati MC12 and a Bertone Mantide respectively. Meanwhile, Paulo Custer 09 and Nikembakum have advanced to 17p, overtaking Amin San and Sidriq. 10K Manine 704 and My Robolus are making a strong push, closing in on Arya Serial and Zago 22, reducing the gap by 2.3 seconds. Arbit 1 and Surian Bot are making a significant push, reducing the gap to Amin San and Sidriq by 44.7. Meanwhile, Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 have made a strong move to claim 13th position, overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. There's an intense battle for 13th place between Susanne Greenberg and Ricky 095 in a Bertone Mantide and Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar in a Maserati MC12. Hey Sputnik NZ, welcome back to the stream. It's great to have you here again. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the AI race car action with us. Junge and M4RKSXX are making significant gains, reducing the gap to Komodo 3K and Amy by 47.5. Meanwhile, Buxizro is closing in on Amin San and Sidriq by 8.1. In an impressive move, Bobardo and Sabine 27 have surged to first place, overtaking Gary 710 and Niaib. One Serious Guy and John 073 have made a significant move, overtaking Nulgus 77 and Meyer for the 8th position. There's an intense battle between them as they jostle for position. On another front, Fafamaker and Katonet are closing in on Paulo Custer 09 and Nukembakum, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. Gary _710 and Niaib have surged to the top spot, passing Bobardo and Sabine 27. Edelberg and Schnicketive have also made gains, moving up to 14th place, overtaking Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar. Street 4 NBZH and SGN7 are making gains on Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX, narrowing the gap by 3.1 seconds. ST4 NBZH and SGN7 have made a significant move, now at 4p after overtaking Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX. Albert 1 and Surayanbot are in a close race for 19th place, with their McLaren MP4-12C and Porsche 911-991 GT2 RS respectively. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are under pressure as Jack Hackirk and Amaljit are rapidly closing the gap by 8.4. Now, One Serious Guy and John 073 are also gaining ground, reducing the distance to Jack Hackirk and Amaljit by 4.0. Nulgus 77 and Meyer are now in 8th place, passing MD 162 and Laserlost. MD 162 and Laserlost have advanced to 9th place, overtaking Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael. Meanwhile, Eshefaudage and Lentiboy have moved up to 11th place, surpassing One Serious Guy and John 073. Electric Mary and Tin Racing are making a strong push, reducing the gap to Stivsmachenjunge and M4RKSXX by 40.6. ST4 NBZH and SGN7 are also closing in on Komodo 3K and Amy, shortening the gap by 4.3. The competition is heating up. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are quickly reeling in Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar, closing the gap by 15.1. Jack Hackirk and Amaljit are reeling in Electric Mary and Tin Racing, closing the gap by 2.5. Lacroix 1980 and R.A. Raphael are reeling in Smurf 20 and Rizaldi Adhar, closing the gap by 15.1. Fafamaker and Katonet have made a strong move, advancing to 17th place by overtaking Paulo Custer 09 and Nukembakum. Amin San and Sidriq are making moves, now at 18p after overtaking Paulo Custer 09 and Nukembakum. Meanwhile, Paulo Custer 09, Nukembakum, Arbert 1, and Surayanbot are in a tight battle for 19p. Exciting stuff. What a race, everyone!